Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today from our friends at Find It Trading, I have a fantastic 8x8 paper pad and then all of these different beautiful butterfly 3D push-out sheets or die-cut sheets. And it's called Flutter Flair. So beautiful. I can't wait to show you all that's included, but it makes beautiful cards just like this one. A special little closure, and this is our giveaway card for this episode. So if you stick around, you'll learn how one lucky viewer can win this card to keep or share with a friend. So come play with us. Let's start with the fantastic little punch out, push out sheets. You're getting 3 separate kind of 3D elements like this where they're stacked. You can also use a lot of these separately. But you're getting 3 on each sheet, and it's so nice that they're all numbered 1 through 4, tell you how to layer them, and I'm going to give you more details on this. And they come in all these different colors. They come in pink, they come in purple, they come in orange, kind of more of a peachy color, or more of a coral color really. And then beautiful yellow, look at the sunflowers. And then the paper pad, you guys, is so cute. Gives you some little page ideas, and then look at all the beautiful papers. Absolutely gorgeous, and they're in those same color schemes as the punch outs and coordinate so well. I love the collage look, the distressed look. Really beautiful use of butterflies. Look at the gorgeous roses. And here we're mixing in some beautiful blue color. It's got a really nice lavender tint to it. It's kind of a peachy color. I love the chipped distressed paint. So they're kind of put into the same color sections as the little punch outs. So look at that, isn't that beautiful? And then on the very back, there's some cutouts, some little tags, and then some more cutouts, and then the end. Very, very cute. So let's show you the little punch outs here. So really, really cute and easy to use. This one goes 1 through 4 this way. This one goes 1 through 4 this way. So let's just take this one. And I find that they're really nice to punch out, but they do have really secure tabs, which is nice because in shipping and everything, you don't want them falling apart. Pull them out just like this. Then you're going to get some of these little tabs, and you can either trim them off like this. Sometimes they're a little chunky like this one. Trim that off. Okay, so that's layer 1. That's the largest layer. And then we're going to go ahead and punch this one out. This one's, they're very, very intricate. And you'll notice the first layer has a white back, like a white surround. And then the rest of the layers are laser cut in such a way that you're not having that white surround. So it makes it a really nice fit on top of the other. But once again, trimming off some of those little tabs makes it look like less hairy, if you know what I mean. Okay, we got those. And then this one, see those little white bits? Those are just little inner pieces. I love it when they do that. Not all companies do the little laser pieces within the larger pieces because it's more difficult. I really like that. Oh, here's a piece just hanging on right here. So. Right, so that's number 2. Here's number 3. And if you're new to like 3D, you know, different countries call it different things. We call them like 3D punch outs. Others call them 3D push out sheets. Some call them decoupage sheets. Let me know what your country calls them. I know we have viewers from all over the world. Interested to know. Or even just like maybe if you're in a paper crafting group, what people in the world call them. All right, so this one these little wings. Ooh, this one is really in there. And then these tiny ones. Okay. So for the foam tape that you're going to use to put these together, get rid of all these little pieces now. Fibers. All right, so you can use little pieces like this. These are 400 little individual foam tape squares. These are available at Paper Wishes, and I'll list them down below the video. These are quite nice to use, but if you want to know what Debbie and I do, this is a giant wheel of foam tape. Now, we use a lot of foam tape, so, and it would also take us like forever if we were making as many cards as we do in a week to use the small tabs. But for the average person, these are great, especially if you're traveling or you're going to card making, you know, friends group. So we take some of this, which is 150 feet or 50 yards of foam tape. We take some small scissors, large scissors that are titanium, so they're non-stick. And you're just going to cut like this, 1, 2 cuts, right? And then you can go ahead and lift this off. I actually should have done this beforehand. Okay, and then just attach it to the edge of your desk. Now, and then just clip them off like this. And their backing is already off. You can do multiple at once, and it's very quick. So if you want to know what we do around here, and we find it is really economical too, because that roll is about 20 bucks, but it is going to last you a really long time, and you can do many things with it. All right, so we're just putting a couple of these little tabs. You don't have to put a lot. I just like to put them in the general area. And then we're going to line up the points of these, making sure maybe this point, and then the butterfly. Just layering one over the other. All right, and now we've got this little guy. I'm going to do the same. I do like to get the foam tape kind of as close to the point possible without overdoing it. That's really plenty right there, but we'll just add a little bit more. Getting the center stabilized is nice. This one, same. We're just going to make sure a couple of different areas. And then we're just going to align that. Go. All right, and then we've got these tiny little wings. Cute. One. That one, oop, I have that upside down. That one right there. And this just makes a really pretty focal for your cards or your scrapbook pages or any of your paper crafting. All right, this one already has half a wing on it, which I think is fun, so that you're not going to have even layers of wings. That's pretty cool. I mean, you could stop right there if you wanted. But it's got another layer here. Look at that. Look at those layers. Look at my messy desk. So cute. So that's how that comes about. All right, so let's take a look at this. Is a slimline tent fold card. I 100% always forget how wide these are. So just under 4 inches, and then it's about 8 1/4 inches long. And it's tent folded because at the top, that's where the fold is instead of the side. All right, and so for this one, took some of that beautiful rose paper and then just went ahead and cut it slightly smaller than the card so that the card had a nice border on that. Went ahead and glued that to the card front. And then I actually just took my paper trimmer, put the entire front of the card only, and I cut just about 2 inches off the bottom of the card front only. So just cut this part off, saved it, right? And then I took a sweet little lacy paper doily, these are 4 inches wide, and a little bit of gingerbread ink, and my favorite applicator tool, you could use your favorite, and then just went around the edges of the doily using the gingerbread ink, and then I glued that to the right side of the card, just flush with that card edge. Turn it over, use your little scissors and just trim that, and then I used what I trimmed away and I glued it to that cutoff piece, right? So once I had that part done, then I took a strip of this long foam tape and I put it just along 2 strips actually. 1 strip right here and 1 right here. You can see them tucked in there, leaving the top part of this free of foam tape. All right, so that they just aligned right there with the card. Almost like reassembling it, but attaching this piece to the card back with the foam tape. And then you take your assembled little butterfly, and I went ahead and I foam taped that right over that lace doily so that it was overlapping the top of the card, but there's no foam right there. And that way, when you just push this, it just opens the card. And it gives you a cute little closure. And then these are cut, well, this one is on the paper, but this is a cutout from the paper pack. And I just went ahead and cut that out, and then I inked the edges of that with that same gingerbread and applicator tool and put a little foam tape on each side of the wing. And then up here, we've got best wishes and beautiful little dazzle, fancy border dazzle stickers. Just adding a little lacy border at the top edge. And then we've got best wishes from our More Greetings Dazzle stickers. They come in a single pack in all these different finishes, gold, silver, nice kind of coppery brown, and then white and black. Okay, and then on the inside, this is nice to do before you glue this piece on, but you could do it after because you could just tuck it down. I basically cut out another piece of paper smaller than the card, inked those edges, and then glued that there. It doesn't go all the way to the bottom, it's just tucked right in under. This is our giveaway card for this episode. So how do we do our giveaways? We're promoting our Paper Wishes YouTube channel. So if you're watching us on our Paper Wishes webisode page, we ask that you hop on over to YouTube, go to Paper Wishes channel, and then just go ahead and subscribe. That would be really great. And to participate in our card giveaways, which we do every Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays webisodes, you have to be a subscriber to our Paper Wishes YouTube channel. And we ask that you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and leave us a comment. And then after about a week, we will reply to one of those comments and say, congratulations, YouTube username blank. We'll fill in that username. One lucky viewer will win. You have to know your YouTube username. It's the username you selected when you signed up for YouTube. So with a little investigation, you could find out what that is. It's the name that's left when you leave a comment. So that's how we know you are. So yeah, that would be great. We would send it to you in a little happy mail. We give you instructions on how to claim your card too. All right, next one. So for this one, you guys, I used the pink set. Let me grab those. Here they are. So pretty. And, oh, I didn't use the pink set on this. What are you talking about, Renee? I will use the pink set, though. For this one, I went ahead and did one that didn't use the push-out sheets, the die-cut sheets. I wanted to do one just using the paper pack. So this is a 5 by 6.5 inch card, and I actually wanted to blend these papers with a little bit of gingham because I just thought they were so pretty. And so I used this sheet, how cute, with our 6 by 6 gingham number 2, and I used this pretty little pastel pink. And on the other side of this little micro gingham is a larger gingham. It's supposed to show on the back, but somehow it got flipped over. And it's just a really nice way to mix your patterns. Let's see what this one has. Go. What's this one? So on one side, it's just this really sweet little micro, and it got a regular sort of mini gingham right there. And then what I did was I took my 5 by 6.5 inch card and I cut away from the card front only. I cut away 1 inch, all right? And then I wanted to make this little wraparound piece. So let's open this up. It's got a nice little presentation. Open this up. This flips out, and that opens up like that. All right, so after I cut away that 1 inch strip, I went ahead and covered it with a really beautiful paper. Okay, got that all set. And then I glued on the inside right here a 1.5 inch strip of that pink gingham. There's a little cute little dazzle sticker here from our white fancy border dazzle stickers. I've never seen these. They're just like lace, so cute. And put those right there, and then here's a little cutout. So let's see what this is. All right, so this measures 4 inches of white cardstock by 3.5 inches. And then you're gonna score 1/2 inch right here, so that this is a little now 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch square with a 1/2 inch right here. Once that's scored, you're gonna first cover this with the micro gingham, leaving a little white border, so it's just slightly smaller than that 3.5 inch square. So I'd be like 3 and 5/8 of an inch. Glue that there, and then glue this little flap to the center of the card back. And then just make sure that it just wraps around nicely. And then this is a cutout from the paper pack. It's on the back page. And I wanted to go ahead and just foam tape that on there. So I foam taped a piece of this wonderful little 1/8 inch grosgrain ribbon that I use all the time, and left a little string there. And then on the back side, when I glued this part down, I left a slightly longer strip right under that, so that when this is folded around and this is closed, you can just tie this up. And then I like to tie it close to the circle. And it just makes a nice little presentation. And I think that it's obvious when the recipient gets it, oh, they're supposed to untie this, which makes it nice because then they don't have to try to figure out how that's working. We've got some more of those sweet little more greetings dazzle stickers, and I use the white ones. It's really helpful too when you're using these, because they're so scripty, to use a little pokey tool to lift them up. Okay, now let's do a little demo here. I just like to go through here and just lift them up like this just a little bit, and then that. And that makes it so much easier to lift these up. Same goes with the longer ones. So definitely get yourself a couple of these little pokey tools. They're listed down below with the video. All right, let's see, what else do we have? Okay, this one went full glitter on this one. So this is a 5 by 6.5 inch card, and I used this really pretty kind of scattered butterfly paper, covered the card with that, and then inked the edges with some violet ink. Use one of your favorite applicator tools. It gives it a nice light look around the edge. And then along the top and the bottom edges, I added these purple jewel dazzle stickers. And then between each of these little scallops on the dazzle stickers, I don't know if you can see right here, there's a little fuchsia jewel dazzle sticker in each one. There you go, I think you can see it better. So there's a little contrast in color there, and we really like using, Debbie and I, our little jewel pickers to pick these up. They're tacky on one end, and it really helps with those little tiny ones to pick those up. And then put those little jewels also on the butterfly centers. But what's going on here, we've got a oval cutting die from our 10 oval and scallop cutting dies. And for the first oval, I used black glitter cardstock. And for the next one, I use this plum color, which is so pretty. And it looks really beautiful with the beautiful, use the pink ones? Yes, did I use the pink ones? It's hard to remember. Did I use the pink? I think I used the pink ones. And yeah, and so cute. And what I did here is I actually changed up the layers a little bit on this. So this is how this butterfly looks originally. And then I took some of the layers and I just doubled them right here and kind of spread these last two layers out at the bottom. You can alter these very nicely. Put another little jewel dazzle sticker there. And then still one of those greeting dazzles in the white. And yeah, I like how this turned out. Kind of altered the punch out. All right, finally, you guys, I have got this one. This is a 5x7 tent fold card because the tent part is like this. The fold is at the top. And I did a little acetate window on this one. Once again, this one is easy to do, easier than it looks. So what I did was I actually cut from the card front 1.5 inches from the card center. So I just opened up my card, my blank card, and then took my ruler and sort of decided where I wanted that 1.5 inches. And I just marked here and here, and then took my paper trimmer and just went whoop right across and cut out a 1.5 inch section. Then I took some acetate. And we sell this acetate by the sheet, listed down below the video, like that. And move it. And then I glued that to the back of the card, okay? And that just fills that space in so that when you glue the acetate to the back of the card, you can then glue this piece right here over the top of that. Now, actually, I shouldn't say glue. I should say use, let me grab this. We want to use some tape because glue and acetate don't hold so well. So it would be better to use like a little double stick tape on the back of your card. And so I put strips of double stick tape on the back of this card, which I covered, by the way, and then stuck the acetate there. You don't need to cover the entire back with acetate, just a little bit. Stick that acetate down and then glue this part, tape this part over that. And it's nice to close the card to do that so you can see everything is aligned. And then when I opened the card back up, I didn't want those tape lines showing through the acetate. So I just took scraps of this paper that I used on the inside of the card and I inked the edges of it with lavender and or violet, and I just glued it right over there. And then these are a couple of cutouts from the paper pack. So that being said, I should have mentioned cover your card with paper first. That was the most important thing. Don't try to cut apart your card, do the acetate, and then try to put all the paper on it. So I should have led with that, which was go ahead, cover your card with paper. There's 2 layers here. They're inked in between the layers with violet ink. And then do your 1.5 inch wide cutaway with your acetate technique. Then you're going to have a nice blank slate here. Then I used the purple, okay, layers here. Used this one, and then just glued that right over the acetate, okay? But I glued it here and here so that it would really stick. If I tried to just glue it to the acetate, I'd have to use the tape, and then you'd have a big piece of tape showing through the other side. So I just sort of hid that. What else did I use on here? There are some beautiful purple jewel dazzle stickers with the little dots on these beautiful butterflies. There's some purple border dazzle stickers across the top and the bottom. Happy anniversary dazzle stickers. Where are they? Here we go. These also come in a pack and they have all these different colors. Use those in gold. And then there's these really sweet lace little daisies and doilies. And I glued those right here with some little purple paper flowers on the top of them. And when you just pop this up, it looks so sweet with just that light coming through that. All right, you guys, I showed you a lot of uses for these wonderful pop-up, push-out, die-cut, decoupage butterflies. They're really fun and very colorful, very well done. The laser cut on them is just beautiful. And I love the paper pad. It's really different. It's got a lot of elements in it that are really, really useful. And who doesn't love a butterfly? So you guys, money saver right over here on the right-hand side. Paulette loves to bundle things with that, so check that out. All the items are listed down below the video if you're watching us on our Paper Wishes webisode. If you click on each color photo that's here, you'll get some more detailed supply lists. And if you're watching us over on YouTube, hi, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It really helps people find us and helps our business grow. And while you're there, just look below the video in the description box and you'll see a link that will take you to this website. Thanks for joining me today, you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.